coming to our second video on art therapy or artivism or creative expression. And I'm going to do a tiny little recap before I go forward. So we had done, myself and a group of women had done a little session and then a second and a third to summarize the year before and summarize the year ahead, our wishes and dreams. This was an art piece, and you'll see it starts with a basic mailbox. And those of you who are in a certain age group, you know, You've Got Mail was a movie, but we all know the idea of a mailbox. So when you're doing art therapy and you're planning a big workshop or a little workshop or even a one-on-one session, you want to use images, myths, stories, concepts that are kind of out there in the world in a very common way, better than choosing some obscure thing where you've got to spend 30 minutes explaining what you mean by it.
Would that be like Carl Jung and the archetypes?
Right. Try for archetypes. Try for things that, white bush trash. People go, white, I know what that is. Bush, I know. Trash, I know, right? So pick words and ideas and themes that you can kind of experiment with. So here's my mailbox. This was a year ago talking about or dreaming about or playing about 2020 and what it was going to offer for me. And you see 2020 there, and the lid, and the unicorn for me is a symbol of kind of live in the moment. So that was one of the things. My husband had 3 fights with cancer. He also had pneumonia, sepsis, various things. Over a 5.5-year period, I had to learn to live in the moment because we didn't know what the next week or the next month was going to bring. So I got more in that mode. So live in the moment, and in here, I'll talk in subsequent videos more about this, but the basic idea for now was my reading and my writing. The idea of the pine cone, big trees, come from a little seed, and all different kinds of playfulness on here and images and stories. And on the back, I had something scary. There's a skull here and black ribbon. So every person's is going to be completely different. They're going to tell their story differently. And our task as facilitators is to put lots of stuff out, in my opinion. We want to give them choices, but not so many choices that they're completely overwhelmed. So that at each turn, for example, I have these mailboxes, as I said. There's small ones, larger ones. There's cardboard ones, and tin ones. So you pick which of those mailboxes, right? If I gave way too many, it is overwhelming. And also allow only enough time to make a quick choice. So say, here's all the mailboxes, everybody pick 1 or 2. And now we're on to the next thing, right? There's some parts where you want to give people lots of time to reflect and contemplate, but if you only have a 2-hour session and you've got 10 or 15 people in the room or more, those steps need to be quick. So we pick our mailbox. And so now I'm organizing with Carlene and Tuba to do another set of 3 sessions over about a 10-day period. Each is about 2 hours long. So everybody's going to get 1 or 2 mailbox. Everybody will be invited to explore some images or stories and do some research in advance. Now, almost everybody who's going to be attending this upcoming session, they all have a minimum of a BA or almost a BA, or they're students, or they have a lot of life experiences. So they're kind of a high-powered, articulate group in a way. If I was doing a similar workshop with 10-year-olds, I would choose less objects, simpler ideas, smaller words, and so on. You always match your resources and your themes and your words to the group. Right? I am here to serve the group and facilitate the group. I'm not necessarily there to lift them and pull them forward in a whole new vocabulary, right? So use what they've got, begin where they are. So everybody gets a mailbox or 2. Everybody's also going to get a background or 2, and they pick what they want. So this could be a background. As you see here, I've used a small wooden background. So something like this is what I picked for my background, and it's turned this way. But it could be a smaller one, could be big. Again, have lots of options for people to pick. So if this is what someone picked, and then they could choose to put their mailbox sideways and put lots of words and images and colors on the background here that they could podge on from any kind of magazine or book, or we could print things. Just write word, or it could even just be colors. Some people are shy to say words, so you say, pick 4 colors that express what you hope will happen in 2021. And they might go red, pink, yellow, and then you say, what's the story for red, pink, yellow? Well, red to me means excitement, pink means gentleness, yellow means cheerfulness, right? Mm-hmm. Again, quick and simple, and go with intuition. Don't overthink it, think it. Just go. So your mailbox could be like that on the next one. Other things, you want to have lots of things in the room that can help people express what they want to express. So my year ahead, as I said in the previous video, I'm being a mouse this year. Because I've been an activist and doing a million things and having lots of sort of robust, strong everythings. I've given myself permission to be a mouse for the next year. Maybe I'll change my mind tomorrow. Anything any of us says in any of these workshops, we always have permission 3 minutes later to say, well, I started with a mouse, but right now I'm feeling like a rat. As a matter of fact, I'm a big fucking vicious rat. That's what I am. That's what I want for 2021. Or they might say, well, now that I think of it, I'm only the ear of a rat. I'm just an ear of a mouse. I'm a tiny little ear of one mouse. I can hear certain things. That's all. Right? So being playful, letting people re-inspire their child. What's cool about these mouses or mices that I found, they make a tiny little squeak. I don't know how to get them to, they sort of do it on their own, which is kind of how I feel. I've been talking about emotional incontinence since my husband died. I just start crying. I see blueberries and I start crying because that was his favorite food. And I'm using my own story just to concisely kind of communicate things. Somebody else will have, for me it's my husband's died, maybe for somebody else it's their divorce, maybe somebody else in the circle they lost their job, maybe somebody else they discovered in the last year that they have a health condition, right? Everybody's going to have something to do with grief in the last year or in the upcoming year. Their mother died, right? Or they had to move. Maybe they loved their job, their community, everything, but their husband got a fabulous job in Prince George, so they moved to Prince George. So they have grief of losing their family friends. We want to always make clear to everybody at the workshop, your story is your story. It's intense, it's profound, it's personal, it's unique, it's meaningful. We're all here to witness and care about everybody versus the idea of, oh, her pain is more severe than her pain and we're going to put you on a scale. We're not doing that. We move away from doing that. So I'm a little mouse in 2021. The other thing, you want to have a lot of tools that people can use to express. So this is my little mailbox, and here's one of the things I wanted to take note of, that I'm expecting 2021 to be a little bit of a bent up year because of C-19 still being going on, and I'm teaching from home and everything's a little different. Excuse me. And my little thing just fell off. Totally cool. That's destiny. Just blend it right into whatever you're working on, and I can hang it with string. It can be skanky. So my wish is that you also have tools. We talked in the previous video about all the words we're going to play with. You might have on this side grief, tragedy, sadness, broken heart. But over here you want to have healed heart, beauty, peacefulness, warmth, comfort. You want to have both sides. So my mailbox is going to have some bends because I've been with my husband for 18 and a half years. And I miss him every single day. And that's okay to be sad, right? Some people, oh, you should be over it after 4 months or 8 months. No, I'll be over it when I'm over it. And I may never be fully over it. I'm with it. It's inside me. That's how humans are, right? So another thing, you might want to have a lot of these kind of crayon-y things so that you can make smooshies. So my year isn't going to be perfect. There's going to be some smushiness and kind of ick. I.e. C-19 is not going to be cured by January 2nd. We know that.
Yep.
I should also say this is November 20th, 2020, in case someone's wondering when we made this. So these kind of things are very cool. You want to have smushy. You also want to have resources that can be concise and tidy, have different ways that people can express onto their objects. This is another cool thing. Now this is needle nose. These are things you can get at Canadian Tire or Value Village, or probably your brother, your cousin will lend you stuff if you're the facilitator. So needle nose, I'm not sure why, but I always need needle nose, whatever I'm doing. And then these kind of big ones, if you want to bend things and squish them. And other things that are really good, duct tape. very Canadian, put things together with duct tape. So sometimes someone will say, well, I just feel there's a lot of stuff constricting me, there's stuff suffocating me, or stuff that's cuddling me, that I feel safe within this space. You can communicate that with duct tape.
Or washi tape.
Or washi tape, duct tape, all the different kinds of tape. So if people don't know what washi tape is, I'll show you it over here. These are tapes that don't stick tough. They're usually pretty easy to peel off. I also have welding tape. There's all different kinds of tapes you can have, and kind of the more variety, although you don't want to be overwhelming, but you could have a box that says tape and just throw different colors in there, different kinds of tape. Right? So it's there and people know it and they like it. Now, so we have our background and our mailbox and different ways for people to express. Now I've chosen the mouse. Other people could choose, this is my year of the dragon, this is my year of the pickaxe, this is my year of the torch, right? Lots of wideness. It doesn't have to be an animal, it could just be a word. This is my year of the bitch, right? Or this is my year of the princess. I'm getting married in 2 months, right? Whatever it is that they want to pick, and both, and mix it all up. So things that you can add to the mix, these are just little labels and they come with a string. So if somebody wanted to say that, this is my year of the bitch, they could put 2021 bitch, and then if you want to get real fancy, you can put a coat of the kind of cover that I showed you last time, this stuff, and then it won't smear. It's got like varnish. You can get substances like that from any Michaels or hardware store. Even regular varnish you'd use for varnishing your furniture.
You could probably also use like a spray paint.
Exactly, a gloss, exactly. If you can take this stuff outside, brilliant. And I often have done that, and it can be really surprising because it keeps people moving. One of the things I like when I'm doing a workshop is you have over here are the tapes, over there are the glues, outside are the spray paints and the clear glosses, over there are all the sharp things like scissors and knives and so on. And you can keep people moving around the room. That tends to be helpful because as people move, it's good for their brain to stay alert and awake. If people sit for 3 hours and they fiddle, they're not, I think, in my experience, they're not as alert, right? And it also gets people, like if people are all sitting, then I might only end up talking or making eye contact with you. But if I'm moving around to these different work areas, then I'm likely to bump into everyone in the room, and it makes more of a solidarity and a connection for everybody in the group. So these kind of things, you can also have words. So I found these metal ones, and somewhere along the way I found this champion. So the word, there's little metal things you can get that have all different, word love. These can come also not just in stickies, but they can come in like cardboard chip things. Or yes, here's the word gentle. Right? So again, you want to have words over here on the soft, let's say warm, sunshiny side, and over here the darker, shadowy side, so people can mix and match. Of course, if you only have shadowy side, that's all people can really feel quickly able to express. You want to have it be a mix, right? And so there's the word gentle. You can print those words out too. If you're on a real budget, or if you're in a community where you don't have a Michaels to go to, you can just print out all those words and then cut them. That's it, right?
Or you could get like stickers and like spell it out.
Right, there's stickers you can get with the alphabet. People can spell it out.
Or print out or whatever.
Print out. It's all mix and match. There's no right way to do it. So some people love to express more by words. Some people more like to express by actually having like a mouse or those kind of little animals. Again, you can get those at Value Village. Go to the toy section, and they often have for $2 little bags of all kinds of little toy birds or mice or whatever, and you can mix it. Also, why I almost never anymore will consent to do a one-time workshop is what I find is people don't get a chance to gel. And remember, the goal is not to create a product, the goal is to create a process. So what I found to be really helpful is the first session, you're just kind of throwing stuff out and people are kind of getting the jive of what you're talking about, and they start putting little things. Another thing you want to do is encourage people right from the get-go. What I like to do is make a kit almost. So everyone has in front of them maybe some backgrounds, and I say you can trade with other people, or you can take yours and go put it back in the box of mailboxes. So let's say there's 20 people, you give everybody one mailbox, and then you have a box with 20 other sizes and so on. So you could say to people, if that one doesn't suit for you, you can trade it for a bigger or a smaller. Only because 2 hours seems like a long time, but it goes by like that. And you want to have people have something so when they leave with their mailbox, their stuff. They go home and now they gel things, they experiment, they reflect. They can Google.
They can reconsolidate all of that information.
Exactly. Or they say, I want a mouse, but I want a red mouse with lion ears. That's my mouse, right? Like, let them be playful. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is, as I've done here, is I Googled pictures of mice. And I found this cool little thing. And often, there's some story already pre-existing. I've been told this is a mouse that hangs out with a rat and a girl to free a princess. I just found that out. Well, we can also say to people, whatever the pre-existing story is with this mouse, I can either take parts of that or let it go. You can make, this is my personal mouse. So I'm going to glue this onto my stuff. Also, you wish people to journal and put their thoughts, and that's private, and you say to people, that's yours. I never need to see that. It's just a scribble. I find my own process. I go mice, mouse, what kind of mouse, little mouse, baby mouse, big, little, young, old, big bottom, what. And so kind of that riffing or playing with words, encourage people to do that. Some people are like that, other people aren't. And then I also Googled about mice, and I wasn't sure, am I a house mouse or a field mouse? So then I decided I'm a multi-mouse. I'm a bilocational mouse. I'm both inside and outside. So what I've done just now is I've reviewed for you what kind of things you want to have in place and what you might be thinking as the facilitator and where you're going. Another thing you might want to do, in addition to Googling and printing and all this stuff, is these kinds of stamps. Now, stamps, again, are very affordable in general. I just got this little bucket of stamps from a dollar store for $4, and I got, I think, 8 here. And they're the heart, a butterfly, sunshine, smiley face. So those are very, again, common symbols in our mainstream Canadian culture. Pretty much everybody knows what that means. It's a smiley face, right? So, again, you would have all your stamps laying out with the image side up, with your different colors of stamp pad. Don't waste people's time trying to figure out where's the best stamp pad, and the stamp pad is dry and all that. That's why we would spend an hour or two setting things up, right? So that it's quick. So they can stamp these on their art pieces or in their journal or wherever they wish or not. You've got your tapes, you've got all these things. So now, as you saw with this one, I have the container. In art therapy, the idea of a container is really important. Sometimes people feel, let's say, you hear people say, I felt overwhelmed with grief, right? So what we're trying to do is we're going to contain that. So my grief, my personal grief, is on the notes in here, and that's mine. That's my personal stuff, right? Everybody's is going to be different. So the idea of a container could be a container for positive too. Like my thoughts between me and my child are very personal. I don't want to tell anybody else in the group. Nobody else needs to hear this. This is just me and my child, or me and my grief, or if my mother died last year and my mother and I had a mixed relationship, I'm going to contain them in here. Okay? So, and at the back, I had decided to contain some of my pain and worry about my husband's imminent death, right? Now, the other thing you can do is you can have 2, 3, 5 different things. So this could hang, and this is for my next year, for 2021. This is just a cool container I found, and what I liked about it is it's see-through. So you could have words that you could see through, or you could have pearls or beads or sparkles or cookies or anything you wanted to put here that somehow is going to hang with my mailbox, right? And this actually snaps, which is cool. People like things that snap. You can also have these little tins, and again, I think you can get those from the dollar store and so on. Any kind of containery things. So say to people, you know, we've got tins, we've got boxes, we've got bags, we've got envelopes as a container. anything like that, and have a whole, and maybe have even a little sign that says containers, to contain the good, the bad, the private, the secret, the stuff that you don't even know what yet. Just, I got something more to say about this story, and I don't even know what it is. So there's lots of them that you can get that are even kind of fun. So if you were doing a workshop on the workplace, this is, for example, a cool thing. Everybody gets one of these, right? And then that might be, people may not want to say out loud about work. They're afraid, what if she tells my boss? So this is your secret thing for your workplace in 2021, right? So the mix of ways to express, the playfulness, the messiness, having different tools, tapes, duct tape, different kinds of paints and so on. And you're trying with all your paints and glues to, if you're going to have anything smelly, try and have it outside. Because some people could be very sensitive. Remember, they're already maybe tense about, ooh, I don't know what's going to happen at this therapy thing. And if it's smelly, it can give them a headache, and that's something you never ever want to do. Or people can even be allergic to certain things. So these kind of things, if you can't do it outside, maybe do it in a separate room with garbage bags on the floor and newspaper on the floor to keep it safe. Or at least have it near a door or a window. I did workshops at a women's shelter, and we certainly did the spray paint stuff outside. But I also had glue like that, which this particular one has no smell, but I still had it right near a window. In case somebody had an allergy, the window would keep the air flowing. So those are some really quick and dirty practical things. The responsibility is on us as facilitators to create piles so it's so they get it. There's the things for cutting. There's the words. There's the containers. There's the glues. There's the wires. These are also one of your best friends. I'm sure you've all seen these kind of things. This can help things stick together. They're called zip ties, I believe. Yep. And you can usually get, I don't know, there are different sizes from the dollar store. And little ones are $30 for $1, $20 for $1. They're very affordable. And this can help you if you want to make this stick to this. If you've got your holes through here and your holes through here, you can use 2 of these and make an X and pull it, and it's solid. It's solid. You never want to set the participants up that they're making something and the glue doesn't work and it falls apart and they bring it home and it makes them feel sad and incompetent. You always set people up for success. That's part of your job as facilitator.
And ideally you would have tried it yourself to know that before.
Always. Always. Try to, does this work? Is it tough? Does it fall apart? Personally, I'm very keen on any art piece I make. I try to make them pretty tough because I often throw things in bags and put them on a plane or bring them in a truck or throw them on the bus or in a suitcase. So I'm kind of keen to be tough. It's also sort of my persona. I'm keen with drills and hammers and stuff like white bush trash, chainsaw.
And with cats.
Yeah, I'm not so, frou-frou, little. I'm more like, build it. I love Canadian Tire. So, I'm going to close this video with another part that can be really fun and unique and interesting, is lead people through creating a poem. So, I have books that can guide me on that or guide you. So, even a tiny little poem, everybody, I want you to write down. You're going to have a minute or 2 of quiet, and you don't have to share this with anybody. This is just yours. So, I'm going to say some things, then there'll be a silence, and then you just write some words, whatever comes to you. So some of the very easy ones are like, I want. And I'll say it a few times. I want. For 2021. I want. Everybody write down what you want. Right? I want love. I want kindness. I want peace. I want a better job. I want to have warm boots and a full fridge. Right? Whatever. I want. Then, okay, now you leave them a lot of silence so people can go into their own mind, and then say, I need, right? I need basic physical safety. I need wholesome food. I need enough money to pay my rent. Part of what you're exploring with them in that implicitly is what we want and what we need aren't always the same, I want 25 pussycats, 6 puppies, and a 14-bedroom house with a live-in maid. I need
Money for rent.
money for it. I need basic cat food for the 7 cats I already have, right? Like, what do we need? What do we want? Right? So just, and that'll, you don't have to say that out loud. That'll intuitively happen. I want, I need, I love. You know, if you pick out, depending on what the workshop is, just a couple of maybe 4 or 5 little things like that. I need, I want, I love, I care about, right? And people will do their own little poem. Right? And it's private, and they can play with it. What your task is in that 2 hours is to mix up everything in them a little bit in a gentle, good, wholesome way. And then they go away for a week or 2 and play and putter and ponder and engage. And when they come back to the second one, then you move them forward a little bit more. And ideally, in this case we're going to have, we come back again a few days later, and that's a wrap up for everybody, right? So I'm going to read you my little poem here. And as you can see, it's very messy with lots of bits and bits. And I worked on this, and I'll work on it again and again. All of these art pieces, you may end up working on them for years. So it's not the idea of between workshop 1 and workshop 2, you finish it. So those two pieces I've shown you in this video and the previous one and this one, I might work on those for years. I'll think, oh, here's another little note, or here's a word, or oh my God, I found a little yellow umbrella. It's just what I need. Right, or blue. I need to put a blue blob. Right? Things like that will emerge for people if you invite it and you celebrate it. It's not done. And if you reflect on your own lives, when you look back, let's say your last year of high school, if you had done an art project in your last year of high school, you might have said, I hate high school, I hate everybody here, everybody's mean to me. Then now doing it 20 years later, you say, well, my last year of high school wasn't actually that bad. I felt bad about it, but really nobody was picking on me. Just all the teenagers were dorks, because that's what teenagers were. You might look back at it differently, right? So I'm going to just cut in here and read a poem. This is my year, upcoming, 2021, my year of being hurting mouseness. I survived the hurricanes, baffled and bedazzled by my tiny alien paws, and pondering, who the freak scientists who changed my DNA? Hybrid now of field and house mouse, but unknown DNA other than that. Herbivore, frightened, needing extraordinary retreats into sleep, haunted, able to effectively hide in the tiniest corner, edge, space, and I'm an excellent jumper, straight up PTSD. That's the DNA of the field mouse in me, like Kafka's bug. But why did this happen? Hybrids or low breeds don't have litters or solo bloodline carriers. They're barren, but pulled to fret over everyone else's offspring, their safety and food needs, my instinct, my reflex, these messages, 1 to 3 years of residency in this life form of mouseness. All biomass recycling from compost to soil, all of us, from compost to soil, to worm, to mouse, to we're supposed to be memory between my reincarnations. Oh, look, my tiny achy fingers and toes transfix me for days at a time, rationing my tiny specks of energy. Unworried, I am unworried about predators or poisons. I'm curled in dark spaces, hiding from it all except the strange continuance of life, confusingly cycling, recycling around me. So this is what I think 2021 will be like for me as a little mouse. Those of you who know me know I usually go to, in a year, 20 protests, 20 rallies, 10 fundraisers, 17 meetings, all this stuff. And I've given myself permission that in 2021 I'm going to be quiet. And as I said before, I can change my mind at any minute. Right? But for now, what I'm feeling right now today is I'm a little mouse that goes squeak, and then I tuck in to my little mailbox, and I put my little mailbox and I might put something like, send me an email. Right? And I'm entitled to that, right? Some other years in my life, I've been the buffalo. I've been out there, the crazy witch, right? Everybody pick images and stories that may fit. And also know you can change it any moment. So thank you for coming to our second episode of this series on how you might wish to use art therapy, artivism, creative workshops. And Carlene and Tuba are actually going to play and make workshop bits and share their stories. And hopefully we'll be able to tape some of the workshops, the 3 sessions as they go on, and something on the end. So very, very interesting bits are ahead for all of us. And my little mouse self sends you little mouse squeaky kisses. Thank you.